As promised, today I'll be sharing my vision board with you. A vision board is something that is good to do. It just gives you a bit of encouragement to accomplish certain things so that way it's embedded in your mind. For some reason, when we have big dreams and we're thinking about it, we have something to keep reminding us of what we need to accomplish, we tend to go that direction. So that's one of the reasons why you should do a vision board. Sometimes it's a reflection of what you have planned for the current year, but for me it's more of the current year and plus things I do want to accomplish in the future. So here is my board right here. The other day when I did share this on my stories, it was just bits and pieces, but here it is. At the top of it all, this really right here signifies purpose for me, the reason why I live, why I do a lot of things that I do. And this is my foundation. It goes back to prayer, reading the Bible, building a continuous relationship with God that's ever evolving. That's how we grow, become wiser, and be more intellect. There's a lot of life lessons inside of the Bible that we get. It helps us navigate life in so many different ways that we don't even expect sometimes. And there's things that come out of us that we didn't even accept. We didn't even expect to come out of us. So that's not my reasoning for always going back to that book and continually building on that relationship that I have with God and sticking to that. That is the foundation of where all of the rest, which I'm going to go through, falls into play. To the left of this is my design company. In 2008 is when I started doing designing websites. I was doing e-commerce things here and there, eventually to where now I'm a user experience designer. I build applications. I've worked with a variety of big time companies, so forth. And I've been privileged to be able to bring their experiences to be much better for their users. I make people's lives better by creating these better interfaces and experience for the people that use the things that I've actually designed and built. My plan is for me to grow in that aspect. I don't know what God's plans are for me. I want to make sure my plans align with God's plan, but it's to grow. And that's why I'm envisioning this to be something bigger than what it is now. Most of the time I work dolo. I was doing the design and development, but I actually want to expand to build a team. And this is what this represents right here, is me having a team. Right now in the user experience design space, there's a lack of hiring of junior designers. So those are people that are just starting off. They may have 0 or 1 years of experience. I want to be able to actually coach, mentor them, and be able to build a team of junior designers that are successful in their careers. That's going to help me establish a more successful company. So right now I'm a one-man operation pretty much, but I want to expand to be able to have that team and get bigger clientele and just grow my company to be beyond to where it is now. That's what these two represent right here. Going right underneath here, this is the YouTube channel. This is the medium that you and I are communicating right now. I know it says 1 million subscribers. If it gets there, I'm not really stuck on that number. It might be over. This is where I lean upon God's guidance. But what's more important to me is this 1 million email subscribers from this. Because the relationship that I have with the YouTube audience relies on YouTube to be that mediator. So I also have to go through that middleman in order for me to communicate with my audience. I have to rely on them for that. But when we have direct email communication, you kind of own your audience in that instance. You can directly communicate with them. You don't have to have this mediator in between. But my goal is that I can grow this further, that the content I supply is useful, is informative. What's more important for me is that we build a connection that's everlasting. We grow with each other more than these numbers that I'm actually showcasing. This is just a representation of keeping my drive going to actually keep pushing for the North Star. Moving a little further down here, this right here is an award. What this award represents is in music, as well as design and other things that I may want to achieve, but some type of rewards. For me in music, what that could signify is like having a Grammy. One of the goals that I always wanted that I said to myself is that I would win 1 Grammy and having 2 platinum plaques for my music. So this is the reminder I got to keep working towards that. But I don't really think big of it anymore, because the way I look at that is subjective, because you're subject to other people's opinion. The Grammy body who actually makes these nominations and selections is, I think, about 200 to 300 people. And if you're at your discretion, how do you know this is the person that should really be getting it? There's probably a whole lot more talents that hasn't been disclosed and discovered for that artist to actually win that award. But it's just a signification that I'm going to work towards actually obtaining that one day. And same with design as well, that my designs will be award winning, and whatever else that I may do in life, I'm getting rewarded for it. Because it was a good feeling when you were younger. You used to get these awards, these medals. I remember in school, you did good in school or was top of your class, you got some awards, some trophy. In sports as well, you excel, you get some rewards for it. So that's what this signifies. I'm going to keep working towards getting there. And moving further down here, let me flip this over a bit. This right here is the school that I want to build in Haiti. It's a not-for-profit school to help educate young folks, because I myself, I wasn't born here. I came here from a very young age. Haiti is many times presented as this poor country. However, I don't remember it being that way when I was growing up. I felt like my family was pretty wealthy. Yes, in comparison to how things were when I was growing up to how I seen life was here, much different. Here is definitely much wealthier. However, it didn't feel like that because that was the life we were accustomed to. We didn't have the television running all day. We actually had to play outside. We built a very strong community from what I remember as a kid. Like, we used to love playing soccer and just being outside and playing tag and different things with each other. That was just an amazing, amazing good feeling. But when I got here, I was stuck in a building, an apartment, and we didn't really have that privilege. So I was eager to go outside whenever I got a chance to. But one thing I can say is that although we didn't have electricity 24/7, we didn't have running water 24/7, it just felt like the norm. We still lived, we still found ways to be satisfied with what we're able to have. And there was not much complaining from what I recall from the people that were around me. So I want to be able to give back and build that school community in there for kids that are upcoming as well, so that they can get an education, be privileged to one day replace and accomplish more than what I've been able to accomplish, so they can keep that cycle going. And that's how I feel we're going to grow Haiti. One thing about Haiti, with all the violence that is going on right now, the gangs that are taking over, it seems very bad. But with God, we trust in God to really direct things and overturn things from how it is currently. We've seen that story within the Bible that talks about Joseph, which I will share later down the line on this YouTube channel. But the moral of it is Joseph kept on getting in these bad situations over and over, and he always came out on top. And I do have that vision and feeling for Haiti. One day it's going to happen. So that's why I'm entrusting in God for when I am doing this school. A lot of people that try to do good in Haiti, they end up getting assassinated, killed, something bad happened to their family. But I'm trusting in God that he guides me, protects me, my family, while I'm bringing this to life one day when he has that plan executed in line for me. And I trust in him for the time when that's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. So that's what this signifies. We're going to keep working towards this. And moving back to right here, in the middle right here, this is my foundation of my family life. When I'm referring to my family, it's really just me and my wife right now. I don't have any kids. This reminds me of living in peace, because when I was a kid in Haiti, I remember I seen a lot of pictures with running rivers and trees like this. It was all greenery, and it just made me feel so calm, such calm and peace. That's the vision I saw for America, what America was going to be like. So it's constantly stuck with me. It's crazy how these things as kid affects our subconscious. So when we get older, we associate that with a lot of things. And that's what I associate peace with. Times with my wife, we're just growing within our marriage, our relationship, and building a stronger foundation to where we are at now. So that's what this signifies right here. That is the reason why it is in the middle, because so far, these two right here are the strongest piece of everything else on the board, because those are the fuel for me. Those are what's driving the purpose behind everything else that you see and make them all connect. But moving on to the right side, this daily prayer that you see here is an app I actually want to build. I've done some initial research for it, some concepts. Originally, it was supposed to be a mental health app, but I feel the need that we need to have community when it comes to prayer. Prayer scientifically has been proven that prayer and reading your Bible brings down anxiety, brings down depression, mental illnesses. It's a much better medication than actually taking those physical medication that those doctors prescribe you. It has such a bigger impact than what these people can think of. And this is a very, the Bible is a very old book. These customs is a very old custom, but they work better than what man tries to make today. So that's what this represents. I do plan on building this app that has that community impact, social impact, where people can connect and pray with each other, do Bible study, share things without being restricted or filtered down by what the social media giants are stating. Even though I'm on one right now, but the idea is that I can provide a platform where we can actually express ourselves, and it's clean. It doesn't have all this other things that's going to bring down or mental health. It's actually going to bring up. The only thing it should bring down is the anxiety, depression, and the illnesses. And it should bring up the mental health for everybody. That's what this signifies for me. To the right of that is another app, which I've been working on, I could say, for the past 6 years. The reason is I wanted to manage my receipts my own way. I didn't want to rely on QuickBooks or all those other platforms. I tried to utilize them in the past, and it didn't work for me. And I know they're much advanced now and more capable, but I decided I'm going to create my own regardless. And I do want to share it with you in the future. For those of you who are business owners or want to track your receipts, keep it stored and not worried about your data being compromised, sold, because that's what a lot of these companies do is they have financial data. They end up sharing that with a third party for some lucrative gain. I don't plan on doing that. If we are to do that, we're going to do it in a partnership way where you are going to be compensated for that. But I don't plan to do that. The first launch of this is going to be very simple, to just be able to enter the receipts, store it. You have access to it, view the data. There might be some metrics that you're going to be tracking there and such. And let me know if you're excited to know when and that I'll be actually releasing this. Just drop your contact below, social media handle, email for any one of these apps that I'll be coming up with in the future, coming soon. Up top is really the metrics that I want to hit for these. These are not the exact metrics. This is tiny to see, but it actually says 1,020,000 downloads, right? It's really more for motivation because I can see myself surpassing that if it's something that becomes adoptable to people, just like we've seen as the case with like Robinhood and all the other trading platforms such as Charles Schwab's E-Trade. When they came into the market, it slowly grew. It's not that they were reinventing the wheel, but they had a different experience that people needed. Like those other platforms like Charles Schwab's E-Trade, they were different from what Robinhood brought to the table, to the point where now the adoption rate of Robinhood is still greater than most of these other platforms. And it is more intuitive to use, simpler. They had not that much functions compared to the other competitors. And that's the gut feeling I have about this, is that I can step into a market that's already being dominated by QuickBooks and all these other receipt management apps and step in, bring people something different, which can possibly have that higher adoption rate where people find more pleasant. So I'm going to keep working towards that. But moving further down, let's come down here. This right here is a reminder of the community that I want to build around my peers. These are all Black, successful African-American entrepreneurs, artists, investors. They've done some amazing things. To the left, you have Michael Jordan, probably the greatest basketball player that has ever lived, right? Then you have Oprah Winfrey. In the middle is Robert F. Smith. A lot of people do not know about him, but he is an active entrepreneur. He's been around for quite some time. I saw a documentary interviewing him on his journey, and it's amazing the things that he has accomplished, the things that he's working on as well. Then you have Serena Williams. We already know Serena, accomplished tennis star, media mogul. She's done a lot of amazing things. And then lastly is Kanye West, who's amazing in music, have done a lot of things when it comes to doing other ventures with his sneakers and clothing line launch. So these are great, successful people that I want to create around me. I want to be able to have that around me with those people that I know that we're building actual companies, we have our entrepreneurship journey that we're going through, we can get there and even surpass these people, right? And just to reference back, the net worth of these people, Michael Jordan's net worth, I believe, is to be around $1.7 billion. Of course, most of that came from his sneakers and things that he merchandised. Oprah Winfrey, media star, mogul, TV host, every person she ever interviewed for a book always became a bestseller and end up selling their books to the highest capacity. So she's known for helping people also be successful. Her net worth is around $2.5 billion. I'm going to skip Robert F. Smith. Let's go to Serena. Her net worth is around $250 million, but I believe that could be more because her husband is the co-founder of Reddit. Although his net worth seems to be around $70 million. Last time I checked, it might be more than that. So, it's Google. You can't really trust some of the numbers that they're saying. And these people, sometimes they have assets in other places. So that net worth is not actually what is stated. They also have to protect themselves as well as their foundation. Kanye West, we know he hit $1 billion at one point and he ran into a lot of trouble with the media and other people. His net worth, last I checked, was around $400 million. But I still look at him as a billionaire. So the only person I question is probably Serena. But I think because with her relationship and her husband, what they have established, what Google's saying, I don't believe it. I think they're also billionaires. And then Robert F. Smith, he actually is worth $8 billion according to Google. It may be more. But just to show the relationship between them, he's probably the least known out of all these people here. All these people are known in the media a lot. But him, not so much, right? He's just an investor in different things. But he has the biggest net worth out of all of these. So this is just motivation, encouragement. Sometimes you could remain humble and you don't have the same journey as everybody else. Popularity doesn't always equate to more success, more net worth, more foundation. It's really about what you find your purpose to be and your goals in life and what do you enjoy. You focus on that and whatever God has planned for you will happen. This also is an association with these people. The reason I have this is just because this is probably more of my age range of people, right? These people, the next generation over than me, probably except for Kanye and Serena, they come a little close, but this is just a representation of me and my peers, once again, us being successful in our suits and ties and such, and we're having a good old time. So that's what that represents. Moving forth, let's switch the board a bit. This right here represents my successful real estate ventures that we're going to have in the residential space. So this is residential, accommodating people. So the reason I enjoy it is the value that I see I've been able to bring to people. One thing I do is invest their security so that way it grows when it is time for them to leave for one of my units. They leave with more than they came back with. It always boggled me that you're renting and you really have nothing to show for it. But instead, if it's growing, then it's better in that sense, right? You're helping the landlord with whatever, and you should get a little bit of something in return for a reward. Your security deposit shouldn't stand still, be inflated, so when you leave, you're left with the same amount of money that you put in, which in reality, it's less because of inflation. So I try to do that, encourage, share financial ideas with the people that do rent from me as much as I can. Try to build that community relationship and having that financial knowledge to share, because they're helping me succeed, and in the same way I can return the favor by helping them succeed as much as I can. So that's what this represents. It's just me growing in that space, having more than where I'm at now to continue shooting for the North Star, because eventually we were going to get there even bigger than this with the modern and sleek buildings and all this good stuff in gravy. All right, let's switch over right here. So this right here is Gymshark. And also this right here is a random successful clothing snapshot that I found. So I have a clothing brand called Luxtreaux, which I'm working on with a partner of mine, Kareem Powell-Downsburg. He's a fashion person with over 30 years of experience definitely super embedded in the space in creating couture as well as understanding fashion for what it is. So that's why I partnered with him for establishing this brand. He has so much knowledge, and our goal is to grow even bigger than this. I found the Gymshark story to be very inspirational because of where he came from, all the failures. I'm always fascinated by how many times people fail before they get to their success. So that makes it okay. You could fail 1,000 times, but your 1,001st time, that might be the success that makes up for all this time. Because the one success you find, it beats everything. It makes up for everything that you have failed at. Like your compensation, everything. It just makes up for it. So I'm always amazed by that. And hearing his story of where he came from, young entrepreneur, his brand is worth over $1 billion. It was just beautiful to hear that story. So I found inspiration in that for mine, as well as I'm working on it to work towards that and surpassing that as well. So that's what this represents as well for me, to not leave that. It's going to be a multi-year initiative, but I'm so glad last year I was able to design, build the websites, do some user research with people, talk with them to see what works from a e-commerce perspective, if they're shopping within our brand, what they like and didn't like about the websites, to the point where I was able to refine it, build it, and now just got to get the Shopify integration going, which I'm planning on working on this year. So hopefully we can actually come live. And if you are interested in being one of the earliest people to grab some of our gears, drop your comments below, contact social media handles, whatever, so that way we can keep in touch with you and let you know once that actually comes out. It's going to be an urban clothing brand, inspirational, encouraging, inspiring you to continue to strive through your goals and keep going every day. Pretty much the whole feeling that we have for this channel, the whole experience, which is what we're about. Moving forward from that point is right here to the right of this is Dwayne Johnson's mother. So the story behind this picture was when Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, bought his mom a new home. Rest in peace to his father. I remember when he bought his father a truck. But this is just a reminder for me to make sure that I make my mother happy. So the home itself possibly made her happy at that moment, but I'm sure what she enjoys the most is the company, the phone calls, the visitations, the dinner times with Dwayne Johnson and the family. Because there's nothing like it, right? You can have all these materialistic things, but without the community, it's kind of dead dry. It doesn't bring you that fulfillment. But this is a reminder for me to continue to work towards that, even though my mother owns her own home right now. But I want to make sure that I step in when it's really time to completely take care of her. Because they took care of us when we were young, we were incapable, and now it's our turn to do the same. And I know not everyone has great and dandy, beautiful, rainbow relationships with their parents. I encourage you to find a compromise. Maybe it's not going to be all hugs and kisses, but make things right as much as you can, because they are your parents at the end of the day. Not every relationship could be completely salvaged, but you can try to find a way to be cordial at least, right? I have that relationship with one of my parents, and I had to ask for that forgiveness, because when we have that forgiving heart, we tend to move on. We don't hold on to a burden. It's a relief of our shoulder when we're able to do that. So even though you might not be able to get here and everything be all rainbows, unicorns with your parents, if you were in that situation, but try to make things with that compromise and keep things cordial if you can and capable, because it's going to be a great feeling for you. It's going to be great for you. It's going to open up more doorways for you, because that's what it had done for me. So I encourage you to try to do so in that manner. But love your parents as much as you can. And moving forth down here, this right here represents my commercial real estate empire. So this is me renting out to other businesses and have operations running in these spaces. So these may be companies that I own, or I'm just renting out to companies that need a space. Because there are nonprofits which I can't support them, but if I can provide a space for them at a discounted price or whatever that they're working on, this might be something that also helps them accomplish their goals. So my goal is to be able to have that commercial side where it's completely for businesses, operations that are coming from the ground up, offices, small businesses, so that they can have an actual physical space which they can go through. I know in the stage where we are right now, we don't know where remote working is going to be, virtual space and all this stuff. But I think it's always good to have physical real estate, no matter what the virtual world evolves to. So that's what that represents. And to the left of this right here, this is my 1 billion streams on Apple Music. And as you can see, I also have the 1 million subscribers. And the reason for this, similar to the YouTube, I want to make sure I own the relationship that I have with my music audience. I will actually be sharing a Christian cover project, which I've been working on for the past 2 years. I recorded the first songs during COVID in 2020. But in 2021, I had a lot of constructions I was doing around my home. So I didn't have that creative capacity. But at the end of the year, I was able to actually record like the piano portions of these songs. These are covers. These are not originals that I've written. These are other songs which I found to be inspirational. And I took it all in, got inspired by it, and translating it back out with the feelings, the mood that I've gotten from these, working with some amazing singers that I've met across. And last year I recorded everything. The songs are all completed now. We're just working on the videos to release out with the visuals. So I'm excited to share that project with you because it's one way I can show you what God has done for me and what Jesus means into my life. Sometimes it's easier shared with music than actually said with words and expressing that in words. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish with this project. There's going to be plenty more music to be released, but that's something I wanted to share with you. Again, if you want to know about it, drop a comment below, social media handles, emails, whatever you're comfortable with. And reminder to work on the email subscribers because that's more important than me relying on Apple Music to always be that mediator between my music audience and my music. So lastly is our investment portfolio. You see how big this is? I'm going to read this number for you. This has, let's see, thousands, millions, billion, trillion. So this is $47 trillion and change, right? This is more goals. $47 trillion is a lot of money. No one in today's world is actually a trillionaire. The only person I think comes closest to that is King Solomon, which I haven't dived into the story as much. But if his wealth was translated to today's money, he would be considered a multi-trillionaire. What would I do with all this? I have no idea. That's where I would really trust unto God. Having all this in one day, I don't think any of us are able to deal with that. When we gradually gain our wealth, we're wiser in terms of how we allocate it, how we grow it, how we spread it, utilize it. Right? So slowly transitioning there is what I'm hoping to accomplish. But this is a reminder. I got to continue growing my investment portfolio across the board. As the year has started, I shared an earlier this month in regards to in January, actually, in regards to my prediction for the market. I thought that people were going to start buying because in December is when a lot of people try to sell off so they can do tax harvest loss. If I'm saying that correctly, pretty much what you're trying to do is tell the IRS that you lost money in the stock market so you can get a tax deduction for it. And then you wait 30 days in January, you can buy into the same stocks again. And we've seen that it started going up slightly. I'll be sharing another video in terms of the monthly updates in regards to stocks and crypto. However, this is a reminder for me to continue to work on that, for God to give me wisdom in that area, to know what to invest, when to invest, how to do it continuously. I'm educating myself. Of course, you want to keep doing that. We can't just ask God to do everything for us. It's when we're trying, He gives us the extra support. He amplifies our efforts. And that's what this is, that reminder for me. So out of all this that I have here, the things that are crucial to me is my relationship with God and continue having that as my foundation for everything else. My relationship with my wife, family life, having my peace of mind, being able to always set time aside for peace, rest, and taking things easy. And also loving my parents, my mother, to be even more specific, just make sure I'm caring for her as much as she has cared for me throughout my entire life. The rest of this is more of a reminder for me to continue to work towards purpose, setting time aside to do these things. It occupies my time so I can show the world how much God has blessed me with so much skills that I can share with the world by venturing into these different things, right? My design company, this YouTube channel, real estate, growing a team, having nonprofit, building schools, having a clothing brand, continue building the investment portfolio, doing music. All these things are skills that God has blessed me with, and I want to continue to share it with you all and the rest of the world. So peace and love. I hope you found this insightful. The reason I'm sharing this is more for encouragement for you to try to do one of these yourself and see what are the things that you actually want to accomplish this year or for the years to come. This for me is a mix of things that realistically I think I can accomplish this year, but also things for the long run that I want to continuously ever evolve inside of. So vision boards are great for that. It's not meant for me to idolize this in any way, shape, or form. It's more of a reminder. I'm not worshiping this whatsoever. This is more for a reminder of the things that I want to continuously work on. So peace and love. If you did find this insightful, as I mentioned, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe for more contents in the future. I'll be sharing different spontaneous ideas, creative thoughts, my experiences with you so that we all can just continuously grow together. Have an amazing one, and I'll see you next time.